Here's extra copies.
Carrie Geschwind. Hey, Mike, are you going to log in? Is the board ready? We ready?
We're ready.
Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone, to the December 18th, 2024 meeting of the Porter County Redevelopment Commission. Hey, Mike, do you think you could take roll call for us?
Sure. Is everybody here?
We're here.
It's
Jason.
Gilliana.
Here.
Ralph Neff.
Here.
Barb Rignitz.
Here.
Let the record show that the other members are not here. They're absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay. And Dan Modich, I hate to even start because he is in traffic and has been in traffic. I hate for him to show up in the meetings over after all this pain. But why don't we, instead of doing the consent agenda, why don't we move, and we'll let Dan handle that. Why don't we switch over to the comprehensive thoroughfare plan and then also talk about the alternative, and then we can decide if that's something that we want to vote on.
Okay. I saw that Mary Jane sent an email, a copy of the contract to MKSK Inc. to do our comprehensive plan, which will include land use and thoroughfare plans, components. The base contract is for $365,000. There's also a supplemental task called a demographic, economic, and housing market profile for additional $25,000 or not to exceed, which will bring the grand total up to $390,000. Pretty much what this second task does, if we want to do, after we do the comprehensive plan, because in the RFP I said we might be interested in what kind of opportunities as far as development, be they residential, be they industrial, be they commercial, what are people looking at in Porter County? So this additional fee would take a pulse on that and include it as part of the plan as a guidance. Again, the comprehensive plan is a guidance document. It's nothing more than that. It's not saying we're putting in X here or anything else like that. It's giving you as decision makers on boards the tools so you can make your best decisions when it comes to things like that. So it would be my recommendations that we would do something like that for the additional $25,000 and that you improve it in its entirety at $390,000, not to exceed. Lastly, schedule-wise, we're probably talking, it'll be the calendar year 2025 it will take to finally produce this plan. There's going to be a lot of public involvement, not only with the residents, but the businesses and other entities and things like that. So that's in a short where we're at with that, and that's our recommendation. I'll answer any questions you might have.
I have one. When we get the survey done at the end of next year, whenever, do they give us a comparison, like with other counties or how we're doing?
That wasn't necessarily asked.
Okay.
Per se. The comp plan is pretty much input from the residents, what they want to see in Porter County, as opposed to, they may bring examples. Hey, I went to this county, I saw this. Wouldn't it be cool if Porter County did that? You might get a little of that, but you can tell reading the current comp plan we had, and I mentioned this before, that comments were overwhelmingly that they wanted to preserve agricultural land. So that comment stuck as one, and hence they put tools in the comp plan for you to help preserve agricultural land, or at least slow down the growth across it in green space. That's kind of what we're more approaching and dealing with here, as opposed to comparing ourselves to another county.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Now, in this 25,000, I can't say whether it is or isn't, but they're going to pull data from the Chicago land market or whatever market that they're going to pull it from. You're going to see trends probably in a regional basis. That's something of interest to you. It will probably expand beyond Porter County where they pull their data from.
So, Mike, just before we make a decision whether this is something that we want to do, um, obviously the shelf life of the comp plan is long, and we know because when was the last time we did the comp plan? In
2001.
Yeah. So, but this additional 25,000 that we're contemplating spending for the alternative, or the alternative module or research. What do you think the shelf life of that is? I just want to make sure that if we're doing something like that, um, that it is going to have some validity for a while.
Just like any of the markets that fluctuate and change with time, everything yesterday's newspaper, as a friend used to tell me. I don't think it will outlive the comp plan necessarily, but it'll be a good tool for the boards. I would say certainly in the next 3 to 5 years to use as a tool.
And I would add that because we do the comp plan so infrequently, that the comp plan is basically what makes Porter County unique, and what we are attempting to preserve or enhance, which then allows you to go back to your ordinances and potentially make modifications to fulfill what the comp plan is attempting to do after all of the public input. So the extra module is really important because that's when, if those ordinances are going to be changed because of the comp plan, they're going to be in that closer time period to the comp plan being finished than they are towards the end of the comp plan.
That's precisely right. It's just another tool for you to make those judgments.
And so because we do this every 15, 20 years, $25,000, it's a good question. It's a good exercise to go through. But if we have it, and it's not like we're doing this every 18 months.
Yeah.
So there could be another 15 or 20 years once this is completed. So I think whatever we can do now to allow us to have the information available if we need to make ordinance changes, then we have the continuum of data to be able to make those arguments of why.
And to add, we shouldn't have gone 23 years between comp plans. It's customarily that if you do it incrementally every 5-10 years, it costs a lot less than we're doing now. The reason it costs so much time is expired. There'll be some chestnuts, so to speak, out of the current comp plan they'll take, but they're basically starting with a clean slate since it's been so long. Some communities go as long as we do. I'm not saying we're an exception to the rule, but generally people like to update them every 5-10 years, and that's something that we should keep in mind in the future. You don't have to spend this kind of money each and every time when you do it that way. So that's just something to think about in the future when none of us are here.
Yeah.
Who usually pays for the comp plan?
The county. You want a more specific answer? The reason why it hasn't been done for 23 years is because we don't have a place to pay for it. The planning department's self-funded, and whether or not they have enough money to go above and beyond to pay for a comp plan is normally outside their budgetary rails. The county council hasn't exactly been flush with extra a couple $100,000 to refresh a comp plan. So we find ourselves 23 years later, and this board seems to have a little bit of money that could possibly go to take care of this larger problem, which is why it ended up here, frankly.
And as we've seen over the last year, had you had a comp plan, or as we go into the future, this comp plan just doesn't dictate what we do in the planning world and the planning department, but boards like yourselves, you can use this as your guide you in your decision.
especially the 25 extra. I could see that, but I mean, there's going to be a lot of other
Well, it's also gonna.
he's benefiting. So,
Well, there is.
I mean, that's all I look at, right?
Correct.
We're spending 25% of our budget on the plan that it's going to be used by a lot of other folks in the county. Is it? I'm just looking at it
No, I think. I think
from that perspective.
it's the right exercise to go through again. I mean, it's that.
And I agree with it. It's just,
Why are we here, and that's
Right.
why.
right.
Know that Bob Thompson, when he was the plant department head, that he was trying to save money every year, in so that he could actually accomplish this. But as soon as you're saving money, it just keeps getting out of your reach because to do the comp plan, it becomes more and more expensive the longer you wait to do the comp.
So did he have something set up for it or no?
He did.
There was, when I came in, can't speak to the, but he had money put aside, but salaries have gone up and all that. That's eating into that. Plus, it wasn't just the comp plant he wanted to do. He wanted to refresh the UDO, not redo a UDO, but get it updated and refreshed. There was a small handful of projects Bob dreamed about doing, comp plan being one of them, and there's just simply not enough money. We don't generate that kind of revenue.
Well, I just think in just being on the RDC board and understanding what the comp plan is, that it is a very valuable tool.
Oh, you know,
And
agree.
if we don't do it, it won't get done.
Right.
It just won't get done. And there aren't any other boards. I mean, the Plan Commission can take advantage of it. The BZA can take advantage of it.
Yeah.
The Plan Department can take advantage of it, but none of them have the money to actually make this
Right.
happen.
Right. I mean, so what's because there is a certain amount that the council gives us every year, correct? That
No.
is fund the board.
No.
Or none.
None.
They've canceled that out.
We didn't get any money for 24, and we're not getting any money for 25.
In fairness to the council, the way we got our money was through a line item in the Lynn Lit.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, the lit budget just got stretched to the point where we were having $500,000 a year come here, and then it went to $250, and now it's zero.
Yeah.
It was the natural progression of the lit budget growing to take care of the reoccurring concerns of the budget. So right now, the only funding we're getting is through our TIF, reoccurring funding.
Which isn't much.
Not yet.
I think it's just south of about 20,000 a year, but
Right.
But the other thing I would say about the comp plan is it also puts us in this position where whenever we have something controversial, whether it's a plan, a subdivision, a development, a TIF, something, it's very easy to run in here and say, you all haven't updated your comp plan in X amount of years. How could you possibly know this is the right thing to do? And it starts to feel like a sledgehammer after a while. Now, the reality is we're not magically changing where farm ground is or where our heavy industrial is or where our cities are. So it's not like we're rewriting the comp plan from beginning to end. But there has been significant changes since it was done last. And part of going to the public is to find out, do we have the same? Is it more or less of the fervorance to protect the prime farm ground? Mr. Jabo is correct. When we did this the last time around, that was one, if not the largest issue. Maybe the second issue was open space. So those were the leading edge issues going into the last comp plan. The reason why the comp plan is so heavy on having the public is to get that public feel again. What are the citizens of Porter County putting at the top of the priority list? And that kind of sets the rest of it into place. And so whether it's redevelopment commission plan, BZA commissioners doing a rezone, council looking at it from a tiffing situation, the comp plan is kind of the foundation that many other things are built off of. And we are susceptible now to, well, when's the last time you've done your comp plan?
Right.
And so.
Well, and the other thing too, things have changed in terms of what are the possibilities. Like back in 2001, nobody knew really anything about solar. Nobody knew anything about data centers. Nobody knew anything about what is going to be facing Porter County in the next decade. And I think it's really going to be important that we have something that we can at least reference.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with the plan. It's just the
And just to give
full
you
funding of it is the only thing that I've got issues with. Just from the standpoint of, it takes a lot from this board.
Yeah.
That everyone else is going to benefit from, which they should have budgeted, or they should budget going forward. That's all.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to the board for action in terms of what do you want to do with the comp plan? Anybody?
All right, spend the money.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very much. Contract for you to sign after the meeting. One thing I want to bring up, sitting next to me as our new planner in our office, you'll be seeing more attending these meetings. Her name is Susan Hale. She
Welcome, Susan.
worked after college. She's finishing up her master's degree, which she'll get this spring. But she also worked for the Highland Redevelopment Commission in a prior life with Mr. Bowden.
Yes.
So welcome to the team, and you'll be seeing more of her.
Dan, you can sit right there. We were waiting for you. We just went over the comp plan.
Oh, that's fine. I apologize. Traffic.
I feel so bad. I was afraid, I was trying to talk slow when you got here. The meeting wasn't over. We're at the consent agenda. Do you want to? We were saving that for you.
You're saving that for me.
Yes. We've done call to order, pledge of allegiance, roll call, skip down to comprehensive thoroughfare plan, and now we're at the consent agenda.
So you have the approval of the minutes from the November 26, 2024 meeting. Those should have been presented to you in your packets. I don't normally know how Mary Jane does this.
She just reads through them and then open up to the board for action.
I don't have them in front of me. The meeting.
Oh, no. No,
Oh.
you have to have them in front of you. You're
Okay.
reading the list.
Oh, okay. Under item number B, we have the financial report for the period ending November 30th, 2024, and C, the approval of claims under the consent agenda.
Okay, I'm going to turn over to the board.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to the 2025 budget. And Ralph had a couple of questions on things, and I wanted to answer actually two of them, the ramp projects. Back in May of 2023, you were on the board, and Ralph, you weren't, and that's probably why you're not familiar with this, but there was a recommendation that we fund the Kiwanis storage for up to $10,000 because they lost their whatever building. Maybe Scott, you even have more information on that. They lost the building that they were storing things in for building ramps for people that are, they need ADA accessibility to their home temporarily, and then they take the ramp back when they don't need that anymore. So I found out what that was per month, and actually it would be $3,312 for the year.
For the year. Right.
For the year. And then the other thing was the sheriff's residence. And back last year, the commissioners requested a loan from the RDC for $125,000 to renovate the sheriff's residence over next to the Memorial Opera House. And we needed to renovate it so that we could lease it out. And through the lease payments over the next 5 years, we're repaying that loan. And I think the reason that Mary Jane put 64,000, that must be the amount of money that we have remaining in the loan to borrow from. So, and does anybody have any other questions on anything else on here? You had a question on other contractual services.
Is that like miscellaneous?
Yeah, that's there for in case the commission needs to hire Baker Tilly or pay Mr. Bowden.
Right.
Those contractual issues on things that come up that we need, if we needed bond counsel, something along those lines.
The only
Not spent unless the contract's approved here.
Right, it's like a contingent.
The only question I had was the difference between financial advisory services and TIF consultants. Who's who on there?
Well, you can be a TIF consultant, not necessarily be a financial. It's possible.
Typically, the financial consultants are municipal financial advisors in that case. I do not fall into that category. I would fall under economic development consultant or
So
tax increment
our
financing
consultant, where
consultant.
does Mary Jane fall? Is she the financial advisory service or is she under the TIF consultant? Which one is she considered?
She would most likely fall under consultants, further defined as TIF consultants.
Wouldn't your financial consultant be like a Sender or
Yes.
a Baker Tilly?
Yes. More any firm or entity that provides a municipal financial product by SEC rules for an obligation would be your financial advisory consultant.
Okay. Then the only other question I have is data processing. And by the way, this is just an unusual situation that Mary Jane is on vacation and we're having this meeting today. Otherwise, she'd be here to answer all the questions for us. She's got $15,000 for data processing, and that seems like a high number. I don't know why we would have that. It's not that we have to spend the money; it's just that she has it as a line item.
Correct.
Okay.
We approve it anyway, right? Before it gets spent on those line items. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to the board.
Jason?
Make a motion, we approve the 2025 budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2025 budget that was finalized today, December 18th, 2024. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. And carries. Okay, so somehow we need to get this budget in the records, and I don't know how we do that, Mike.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure how we get this budget that we just passed in the records for next year.
Well, I'll defer to Scott. You made a motion to do so. Don't we turn that over to the auditor then?
Correct. that's the much process in the council, so it's truncated, but this board passes their own budget, then that's the budget.
Okay.
Then
Right.
it gets held by the staff, and then the auditor's office gets a copy of it.
Okay. And then will you take care of that, Mike?
Certainly.
Okay, thank you. And then we have the 2025 Business Council meeting schedule. And I don't think we need to approve that. That's just kind of an announcement. So we have a plan to meet the first Monday every other month in 2025 and would love to see, and it'll be in the side chambers, and would love to see anyone on the RDC board involved. I know Ralph went to our inaugural meeting. And what was your feeling on that, Ralph?
Well, I think a lot of businesses are going to get involved with that. Again, about redevelopment and their main issue, it seems to be like everybody else, is getting labor.
Yeah.
There's a labor shortage.
Yeah. And at the very first meeting in 2025, we're going to have Lisa Doherty from Center of Workforce Innovation Workforce One, and she'll be meeting with them. And just to give a refresher, we invited all of the township trustees to nominate businesses to be a part of this business council for a couple of reasons. First, we wanted to make sure we had good coverage all over Porter County. Secondly, we wanted to make sure it wasn't just the same old people that end up being on every single council, every single board, and you really don't get any new ideas, new thought. And so, and I did not know a single business owner in that room, which was really good because we're getting a better cross section, I think.
I knew one.
Did you? Okay. I think we're just getting a better cross section. I think this will be really valuable because, and I don't mean to bash government, but government tends to lag in terms of understanding where things are from a business and entrepreneurial perspective. But those business owners, those managers of businesses, and you know this, you're micro pivoting every single day based on what's happening in the economy at that particular moment in time. And so without even knowing it, you are just a wealth of information. But it's just a matter of asking you the questions so that you can actually comment. So I think that business owners, they're probably better than those high-paid think tanks that are out there. They just have more boots on the ground, better understanding of what's happening in the local area. Did you want to comment on that at all, Dan?
Typically, you are correct. Government lags in understanding the business market. In many instances, private enterprise and local businesses are on the forefront of information and data as far as market and how the economy is working. I don't want to overstate it, but that is a good understanding of how we understand government is. It is intended to move slowly so that we are precise, accurate, and deliberate in our decision making, which tends to lead to a lagging of understanding of the economy. And that's not true. It's just government is intended to move slow by the founding fathers. It was
And
born
government tends to be more reactive than proactive.
Yes.
And so it would really be nice to have government move up closer to that proactive range.
Correct.
And
So it's
how to do that without messing up and
Right.
having to be so deliberate.
So it's a balance of risk.
Yeah.
The more proactive you are, the higher risk you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
The less proactive, the less risk you take, which is why government tends to be on the less low risk side.
Mm-hmm.
So in some instances, you have to take a calculated risk, which understanding your percentages or probabilities of that risk and understanding the impact if it does not occur. So in many instances, government does take calculated risk. So that is a true fact. But it's good to have the business council involved because it provides you that next level of information that can be helpful in your decision making.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great, thanks.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, any other items that the board would like to bring up? Okay, I'm going to open it up to public comment. I see two masked men in the audience.
We have Batman and Robin in them.
Would either of you like to make a public comment?
If I may,
Come up. You can either sit next to Dan or you can use that mic there.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm George Topple, Union Township trustee in Porter County, and also a member of the Planning Commission for NERC, along with Councilman Vasquez. And I often see Mike Jabo there too, and I'm very pleased at what you're doing with the Business Council. But I would also like to find out if the people that we recommend to be on that Business Council for the Redevelopment Commission actually attend, and if they don't, then perhaps we can put some that would like to be there.
Okay.
But anyway, my thanks to you, and thank you for passing the comprehensive plan because it is long overdue, and I am so excited that we're finally getting this off the ground. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, George. Alrighty. Anybody want to end this meeting?
I do.
You want to make a motion? You want to make a motion?
Make a motion. We end this meeting.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And everyone truly have a very Merry Christmas. Let's all look forward to a very wonderful, prosperous 2025.
Thank you.
Motion. Meeting adjourned.
Been a minute.
And by the way, I appreciate both of your questions and concerns about the comp plan, about the agenda, about the budget. I because nobody's saying anything.